I'm a threat. Yeah, it's a bet. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a threat. It's a bet. Yeah. Let's go. Check my wrist. Whoa. Top. Yeah. Whoa. You know it. Blowing again. From. Whoa. Yeah. Making a killing. Oh yeah. In respect. It's a check. Nothing less. Oh yeah.
To the eFootball Championship 2024 AC Milan Finals, the last round of Konami's Open competition, which is brought to you in partnership with the Italian club AC Milan. Now today, two very lucky winners will be taking home these So there will be 8 finalists competing here today, but as we said, only 2 can make it to Japan. So let's find out who they will be, right? Well, as for now, I am Summer Hunter. I will be here with you throughout the day as we do discover who is booking their ticket to the World Finals. And alongside me, as always, well in company by my favorite dynamic duo when it comes to eFootball, Harry Chan and Stuart Philip Wesley. Or should I say Sir Stuart Philip Wesley?
That sounds far too regal. Far too regal.
Not yet, maybe
Well,
one day.
listen, let me tell you what. The trophies were here. All of a sudden, they moved him closer too. It could be because of that regality that you speak of, right?
No, they've just put me there to protect them from everybody else. That is.
So how are we, guys? It's been, what, 10 days since we last saw each other? Back home in Barcelona now?
That's right, yeah, back here in the studio. It's fantastic to be here as always. Another club event finals, and we've done 2 so far. We've got a few more to come, but the time is running out. The opportunities to qualify for the World Finals in Tokyo in the summer is running out for some of these players, so the pressure is just mounting and mounting.
I wonder how many times he's going to say that. Time is running out, the clock is ticking. What about for you, Wes?
Yeah,
how you been? How's the week?
No rest for the wicked. We are right back at it with the AC Milan Club Finals. Again, it was great last week in terms of being in Munich, but now our attention's turned to the Italian giants and who's going to represent them in Tokyo in the summer.
Well, I tell you what, I think I speak for probably just about everybody who's watching. They love your work, which is why we're putting you back to work so regularly, right?
Maybe,
Shucks.
but I'm a bit worried that they keep moving the trophies away from me. It's the closest I'll ever come.
Yeah,
Our America's regional winner scores the first goal of the Milan Club Event Finals. 1-0.
Yeah, it was really good counter-attack. It came from a is almost the lighthouse that you look for in this AC. Gives a keeper a little bit of a look. You'll see it again here. In Chukwueze just making his way into the box. Shows Magnan the wrong way. Just that little bit of movement from the goalkeeper was enough for Chukwueze to have an opening. And what he needed to get himself back into the game. There's Noah Okafor who got forward. You can see there, it's as simple as you like. It is getting through the back line, and again, it's that one almost missed tackle, and that input just allows Okafor's pace to get the better of the defender, and it's a cool finish in the box for 1-1.
A very cool finish by our Europe and Africa regional winner. Maybe 7x. Of course, if you're just joining us, it is OBruxoo from Brazil in the home strip. It's maybe 7, and I tell you what, the latter has a chance for another attack here as the cross comes in. Maybe 7 in that all-white Milan strip. We spoke about it in the pre-game, so important to take your chances when they appear on this platform, and Okafor can maybe try and feed Lee out. OBruxoo looks a little shell-shocked to start the second half after taking that early lead. Into the feet of Giroud for him now, though. JOYBOY in the final third. Cannot quite get the connection he's looking for. Hernandez. Inside to Pulisic, and Teo Hernandez can maybe cross that one in, but Manyan is very strong in that Milan goal.
Yeah, you can see as well, top right hand side of your screen there, you can see a Paul cued. In 75 minutes where super sub becomes more of an important part, and timing your substitutions and certainly picking out the right players to bring in.
Looks like a completely rejuvenated front line here for OBruxoo. As you said, such an important time when you bring on those subs, fresh legs, especially going up against more fatigued defenders on the other side. Can really make the difference in this type of competition at this type of time frame, and it's a round robin group stage. It's the old adage, isn't it, Wes? We used to say it so much throughout the previous seasons. You don't get a chance to get these points back, so honours even right now. We'll see if the points are shared come the end of the 90. OBruxoo in possession, out to Florenzi. With Florenzi on the overlap, stunning cross, and again it's Manyan with the strong hands, this time for maybe 7.
Yeah, Giroud's just knocked that down there brilliantly. Moves passes intercepted. It's interesting to see as well in terms of the changes. Rafael Leao brought off the bench as opposed to being a starter.
And here he is with the ball. Fresh pace brought in. Hernandez cannot get the ball in before it crosses the byline, but yeah, very pacey player, especially with that fresh stamina bar, Wes. It's a very good point you bring up. Of course, no doubt we'll be seeing that throughout today, who chooses to utilise Leao and in what form. That's a ball given away though by Maybe, and here is Leao. Luka Jovic with the strike. Oh, he's tucked in the bottom corner. What a strike! Controlled by OBruxoo, the Brazilian back in front. Second time in the game he's taken the lead. It's now 2-1.
3 of those substitutes of the 5 that he brought on combined there. Loftus-Cheek wins it back in midfield, plays it out wide to Rafael Leao. Jovic has time, has space, turns and navigates it past the goalkeeper. Wonderful finish from Jovic. And again, the awareness, we'll just see it again here. Manages to get it out of his feet, and the defender tries to cover it. I believe it even goes to the defender's legs, and as a result, OBruxoo finds himself back in front.
Back in front, and what a vital time as well, entering the final 10 in-game minutes. Is there a response from Maybe? But the Milan squad, the AC Milan squad, so deep. In terms of squad depth, you can bring on the likes of Loftus-Cheek, Jovic, Leao, and they can really make a difference. And for OBruxoo, he has possession and vitally the lead in this opening group stage match. Maybe a last chance here for Maybe. Loftus-Cheek. Kalulu though with a strong interception, and he hoops it upfield. That's a great header on as well, and with only 3 minutes added on, surely that's the game now. Okafor far side, Luka Jovic the goal scorer, presumably the winning goal scorer, and there it is, Wes. Great show of resiliency to take all 3 points for OBruxoo. A great opening for the Brazilian.
Well, we promised goals. We promised goals.
Yeah.
We promised attacking intent, folks. And I think we royally saw it there. I mean, again, the substitute played their part. They made that difference.
Yeah.
You know, seeing Rafa Leao, seeing Ruben Loftus-Cheek, seeing Luka Jovic all off the bench and combined vitally for that winning goal. Again, superb work from OBruxoo.
Yeah, we can see it here from some of the highlights. Of course, started really strongly. Had a couple of chances in the opening 10, but really was that 25th minute goal we saw from OBruxoo that kind of set the pace, set the tempo, and set his I want to say, intentions going throughout the tournament here today about how he intends to proceed. Very, very clinical finish.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, you talk about composure in vital moments. Again, you know, it's hard enough when you have a controller in your hand, let alone when you have your thumbs on a mobile to have that level of composure. But again, it's really good work for the equaliser from maybe 7. Again, almost directly from kick-off. And again, it was just one missed input of a tackle when it shouldn't really have been used, and allowed the door to be swung open on Brugge's defence.
Swung open it was, and of course that was the goal that saw the equaliser for maybe only 17 years old, our Europe and Africa winner, regional winner, to make it to this stage. The question is, after conceding so late on, I think it was about the 79th, 80th minute, is that going to knock his confidence going forward, Wes? Because such a young age, you now essentially are in a must-win scenario for his next 2 group stage games in order to make that knockout stage.
No, I think it'll be a little bit of a lesson for him in the sense of, once you get that goal back, you need to maybe calm down and maybe just try and nullify a little bit those substitutions. It is difficult when somebody brings on a complete different attacking line change, but at some point you have to nullify it. But if you're going to utilise Rafael off the bench, you're going to utilise Jovic off the bench, you're going to give anybody problems.
You're absolutely right. 2-1, Semra.
Yes, of course. Well, why don't we take stock a little bit as to how things are going so far in the day, because we do have 2 matches that are played simultaneously on mobile and console as well. So just to give you an idea, we have OBruxoo obviously picking up those 3 points against maybe 7X. Well, actually, these are just the mobile games, so we'll have to take a look at console in just a minute. But notwithstanding then, obviously it's going to be an interesting one, because we still have another game in mobile that will be available for you to watch live, which is JOYBOY against A-Ermiki. So talk me through this one a little bit, Juan. I know that Harry was feeling a little bit good about the Indian, given the wonderful joy that he brings to his name, but A-Ermiki, another interesting contender from Morocco.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my eyes on JOYBOY today. I know I don't like to pick favourites, you know me, usually on the fence, Wes, but I will say India...
It worked for Mueller really well last week, let me tell you.
Did. 2 for 2 winners. I'm quite surprised about that. I'm kind of worried for our jobs, Wes, but I will say, just have a good feeling. India as a region has obviously such a big population, and from that has a greater talent pool to choose from than other countries. So, in theory, going by that logic, we should see a very strong Indian representative here.
All right, anything you want to add to that?
I think styles, as the old saying goes, styles make fights. Or at least not a physical fight in this instance, folks. Just one on the mobile.
Fights.
Just one on the mobile. And again, as we said, we talk a lot about the kind of the time ticking down, things like that. I think we're going to have a very interesting game between these 2.
Right, well, here we go. Now we've got the console results up behind me. We have got Usmakabyle. Again, no real surprise, given the pedigree that he brings to this competition. 3 points, although it was a marginal win, just 1-0 over the man from Thailand, Jeansui.
Yeah, that's an uncharacteristic result, I would say, from Usmakabyle. It's not often you see him kind of grind out games to that 1-0 scoreline.
Usually he scores quite a fair amount, doesn't he?
Definitely tries to, so I wonder whether or not how much of that would be Jeansui coming from, obviously, our Asia, Eastern, Oceania and others region, whether or not that matchup just was something that Usmakabyle wasn't prepared for. Maybe that type of gameplay is maybe his Achilles heel. We don't know. We'll go and see, obviously, later on that group stage.
Perhaps sterner competition than he actually expected.
Potentially so, yeah.
All right, well, let's move right along then and continue with our mobile style of play. Then mode of play, and we've got coming your way now, it's going to be JOYBOY against A-Ermiki.
Of course, a big thank you to Semra, as always. I'm not sure I'll quite be able to pronounce A-Ermiki as well as she does. I'm not great. I know it's my job, Wes, but my pronunciation's not fantastic. But we do have A-Ermiki from Morocco, 22 years old. He's won many local trophies, but this is a big step up for him here. Going up against JOYBOY, our India representative from the Asia West region. He won that region to qualify to this tournament. a newcomer to the eFootball scene, but one thing that impressed me from his information, I got to ask him a couple of questions. He wants to learn new tricks from his opponents, and that I think can be one of the most dangerous opponents to come up against, because he'll be constantly downloading what you're doing and thinking how he can counter it.
Yeah, that is, if you were to read that on anybody's bio, that is always one to be very, very careful of, because again, you're only going to get a stronger opponent the more that they play. So you would like to think that he will potentially pick up the hints and tips and tricks that he's looking for going through the tournament. And again, of course, a small word on your pronunciations, both the chat and the audience, we forgive you. We forgive you. If you get any wrong, we forgive you. Okay. But in terms of what we've got here, though, like I said, I'm very styles.
Boy in the AC Milan home strip, taking on A-Ermiki in the all-changed white strip. It's JOYBOY with possession first. As we said throughout today, throughout mobile and console, it's going to be so fascinating to see where the change in personnel comes from, where the tactical switches happen, who decides to use whom as a super sub. Do they hold back on some of the more offensive weapons that AC Milan have at their disposal, or do you go gung-ho? Do you try and get that lead early on and try and defend it?
Well, this is interestingly, you've just seen a different names pop up on your screen there. Pabega didn't see at all in the first game, obviously from two different players, but you can see that there are little nuanced differences layout from the start.
Here comes Okafor for A-Ermiki. Adli's arriving, but Tamori, one of those key pieces in defence for AC Milan. We'll see him as a staple, no doubt, as all of these regional winners try and qualify for the chance to represent AC Milan at the World Finals in Tokyo later this summer. Benacer for JOYBOY. Intercepts and wins the ball back, and now the attack is progressing over on that far side. Calabria for the Moroccan A-Ermiki. Able to step in, and we say it so often, Wes. Of course, this is our full season being able to follow the mobile gameplay. You have to take those chances when they appear. I think you will hear us often ask, how much will that cost these players? When a good chance presents itself, you have to take it. There's potentially one building here, but Benacer is able to step in and intercept.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Is that the blink and you'll miss it style of gameplay within mobile as Okafor finds Pabega. But you have to wonder just how much or how costly these chances are going to be if and when they present themselves, if they're not taken.
Theo Hernandez standing cross, looking for the head of Giroud. Of course, that Frenchman very, very prolific with his head. Aiming for him once more. There's a couple of white shirts over on this far side as Adli. There's a bit of green grass to run into. Man over on his right, but chooses to go left to Pabega. It's been a fairly open first half. This ball has stayed in play for the majority of it, but very few clear-cut chances to speak of thus far. Is that about to change as Pulisic is tackled by Tamori, and that'll be a corner towards JOYBOY. A bit of a chance here towards the end of the first half. Who is his target as we await the in-swinger from Adli? Short option is there as well, decides to go in the box towards Giroud at the front post. He's been dispossessed though, and the referee's assistant has held up the number 0, so it's all of zeros in this first half. 0-0.
I was going to say zeros everywhere, shots on target offsides, you name it, that they are everywhere, and it's been a testing half for both of these players because they've not really had a lot of opportunities, and as such, with the ball being in play for as long as it has been, that clock just ticked down ferociously to the point now where, as we said, blink and you miss it. That's the first half that's gone for these two players.
As we can see from JOYBOY's screen, wanting to try a bit of a switch up in formation here, and I tell you what, I don't mind that at this stage of the game. As you said, there's been no shots, no chances. The ball's been in play plenty, so you've had a good half of football to try and fashion those chances.
Yeah, just something interesting to note here. You mentioned about changes in shape. I'll chance my hand here is that if Giroud isn't taken off, there could be that diagonal ball on that we've seen so often to maybe almost route one, knock it down from the big man Olivier Giroud into the path of Rafael Leao.
It's one of the more fascinating aspects of these club event finals as we are now underway in the second half. Is who has done their homework and who really searches for that affinity with their club and their playing style. You have to play to your strengths, and as you said, where's that diagonal is something we've seen in seasons past to be very, very prolific for this Milan club. Calabria dispossessed on that far side. Musa are able to win it back for JOYBOY, now kicking from right to left in the Milan home strip. And I tell you what, the fans who've bought the tickets on that far side have really gotten their money's worth here, because very little coming towards the camera here.
Yeah, you can see that players have their preferences on who they attack with and what route they would like to go to goal.
Into the feet of Okafor. A-Ermiki with a chance to roll forward. Adli here in the box and is able to poke it past the near post and into the goal. The Moroccan, who's won many local trophies.
It's almost like they're playing at a mobile pace in the console game. This could be any type of score you can imagine. Again, really good work from Usmakabyle to find that ball into the box. You'll see it come back here again, flicked over the top to his favourite player in Olivier Giroud. Marios tried to read it with the manual goalkeeping, but just went to the wrong side.
Yeah, that it did. The header from Giroud. I think we asked Usmakabyle about his favourite player, and of course we asked the same questions to all the representatives here, and they all say our favourite player to use is Leao, or it's, you know, Theo Hernandez or someone like that. And Usmakabyle says Olivier Giroud. Give me a strong target man up top to header it towards goal and knock balls onto, and he's proven his game plan right there. Confirmation, latest goal scored by the three-time world champion, and he's coming forward again with Chukwueze.
He's a man after my own heart, using a big target man like Olivier Giroud. Certainly is, in this type of environment, this type of game mode, as a player you can call on.
Now, where is the response here from Marios? Of course, it's all well and good opening the scoring and taking the lead, but as we said before, having lost his opening game in this group, finds himself in a situation where he needs some kind of result against Usmakabyle, and those eagle-eyed viewers will, of course, recognise the face of Usmakabyle, both from seasons previous and, of course, the FC Barcelona club event finals a couple of months ago. Got all the way to the knockout stage final and was one game away from representing the Catalan club at the World Finals, but was bested on penalties. We'll be looking to try and go one better here today. As Marios coming forward here inside the box now. Is there a chance? And he regains the lead. Well, I asked the question and Marios just provided the answer. How do you get back in front against a three-time world champ just like that?
You fight fire with fire is what you do against the next three-time world champion. Again, it's good. It's patient build-up in that defensive zone there. Again, cuts out a phase almost by chipping it into a centre midfielder, and then just again taking a touch in the direction that your opponent isn't expecting. Normally, when that ball gets played there, you're thinking he's going to roll around and try and hit it with his right foot. Instead, it takes a touch back where it came from and opened up the space. Wonderful goal from Marios.
It's a wonderful goal and great utilisation as well of Rafael Leao. Just 17 years old is Marios. Won the Europe and Africa region to make it to this stage of the competition. Nice ball though from Usmakabyle. Here's Chukwueze. Giroud in the box with the left foot. And Wes, you said it, a mobile pace here on the console platform. It's 4 goals in what, 25 in-game minutes?
27 in-game minutes. This is a crazy pace being set by these two. And what a great finish, might I add, as well. Olivier Giroud on his left foot. Again, great play to get Chukwueze in. And again, realised where he was. Giroud with a first-time strike right into the bottom corner. No chance left there for the goalkeeper. We'll see it again here. Brilliant angle.
And the level of eFootball being shown. We always harp on about, oh, when your chances appear, you have to make sure you're taking them. You don't need to tell these two twice. Usmakabyle 2, Marios 2 here in the first half.
That's what you can expect from two players who hail from lineages. Of course, you've seen Usmakabyle represent France in stages. Of course, you've got Cams, Lotfi, Gilzu, Nexa. All of those guys will certainly have kind of sharpened the steel of him. And then, of course, on Greece's side of things, you've got Lazar the Greek, Panos Bull. You've got, in terms of if you think of an older vintage, you've got Stavatak, who we've seen in previous. We've got Crazy Flash that was playing when I was around. There's a kind of a new wave of players coming through in Greece, and that's kind of what we're seeing here as well. 17 years old, Marius, kind of showing almost maturity beyond his years at this point.
Yeah, and despite his age, has some accolades to back it up as well. Double touch can't make it around the defence of Usmakabyle. Into the feet of Leao now, who can bring this forward, shielding the ball quite well. The top 5 at the IESF World Championships in 2023. Marios, so has experience in top-level competitions, but it's a tough task coming up against this caliber of opponent this early on, and Usmakabyle looking to take the lead for the first time in this match. Won his first group game 1-0 against Jeansui of Thailand elsewhere. So Usmakabyle looking the healthier of the two men on your screen so far here in the group stages. Half-time approaching.
Yeah, feels like we almost need a rest from watching this, because it's been a frenetic pace between these two players already. And it doesn't look like either one of them wants to give their opponent a rest here. They're giving them something to think about with every single pass.
Crossed in by Usmakabyle, but too close to Mike Magnan, and the Milan goalkeeper a general in the air, and Marios, well, had too many white shirts to beat in the end. Is there one last attack for Usmakabyle? Leao trying to complete the 1-2, but that won't happen, and, well, the referee has said, let's keep playing here, because there's a potential chance for Marios. Kalulu for Usmakabyle will spell the end of the first half. An action-packed first half where so many chances, so many of them converted, 2-2.
And breathe, everybody, and breathe. It has been restless between these two players. And interestingly, one of the things I've picked up here is the almost willingness to cut out midfield. The willingness essentially is to go defence to striker rather than look to try and play through each other's midfield. And as a result, it immediately puts pressure onto a backline if you go that direct. And of course, second balls is where your centre midfielders, you can see here, they're trying to build up in that kind of fashion where you get 4 or 5 runners. And of course, it can be chaos because as a console player, even as a mobile player, you can only control one player at a time.
Absolutely right, Wes, in the second half. We'll, of course, see the two-side switch. It's Mariusz still in the home strip, but now attacking right to left. That's one thing that we've seen from Usmakabyle in seasons previous, in iterations of this competition. I'll come back to my point as the man himself is about to tuck one home. It's Liao again. Not for the first time today, but the first time for Usmakabyle. And the first time he takes the lead in this game. 3 goals for the 3-time world champ.
It's a bit weird to say that he's scored 3 goals in a game, and that's the first time he's taken the lead. That is very un-Usma-like. But again, you saw the movement. Again, Rafael Leao breaking away from defenders, manages to just tuck that one home. And it gives the man representing Algeria the lead here. Neat little ball there from Chukwueze. It's Rafael Leao to roll that one home.
Well, the point I was going to make is that throughout the seasons of this competition, Usmakabyle has been one of the archetypes, if you will, architects of playing around the strengths of your virtual squads. And you feel that by using Giroud as that focal point of the attack, it's just going to give him that extra dimension that teams might struggle to deal with. Defensively, it might just be a bit too far out of the ordinary. It's proven that way for Mariusz so far as he trails, despite taking the lead twice in this game. And Usmakabyle love to try and get another attack on that far side, but we'll get a second chance here or not. There's a big space here for Olivier Giroud and Liao! Mariusz. 2 white shirts essentially through on goal. And Usmakabyle, he eats those types of chances for breakfast. 4-2 now.
Yeah, you can't be giving a player of Usmakabyle's quality that type of opportunity. Again, we always talk about the percentage chances that these guys will take. They won't look to try and maybe chip the goalkeeper or try and controlled shot around them. Instead, just try and roll it over to his teammate and just say, there's a free opportunity. Thank you very much.
4-2. Great advertisement for, of course, the console platform. So many goals, and something tells me we might not be done yet. And of course, it's worst case scenario for Mariusz. He has an attack here, though, on that far side. Who can he find in the box? He's taking it all the way here, just causing a bit of chaos. Still alive as well. And Usmakabyle finally clears. Worst case scenario for Mariusz, of course, losing his first group game prior to this. So I feel like we needed to see him pick up some form of points. Still time on the clock, though, so still in with a puncher's chance. Usmakabyle just a little sluggish on the ball there. As once again, Mariusz comes forward, but defensively, Usmakabyle just is able to clear, but can't clear that final third. Finally, now a chance to clear and maybe settle down. And that's one of the strengths of having a big man up top, whereas you can win those types of headers and reset the play a little bit.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure out of it just a little bit. I mean, Usmakabyle's concentration in the last 10 or so in-game minutes has been tested to its absolute limit, because his attacks from Marios are relentless. Just can't seem to find the final pass to get himself in. There's still time on the clock, of course, but as it gets closer towards the end of the game, those chances are going to really dry up.
And it will, and you'll see the radar, of course, at the bottom of the screen. Usmakabyle constantly trying to get that ball up the pitch and then push his back line up and trying to get them closer to that halfway line. Good work by Chukwueze and Usmakabyle in the final 10 with a 2-goal advantage. Not often you see him throw these types of results away. Liao now. Near side. Still with work to do. Looks like he's just won a throw in by the corner flag. Territory-wise, this will suit the man representing Algeria very nicely. He's experienced in these types of games, has played, dare I say, hundreds of them in his career. To see out a result for Marios, it really has to be now to get anything from this game. But as we creep closer and closer towards that final whistle, it's looking like it's going to be 6 points from 6 for Usmakabyle so far here in the group stages. Just 1 minute added on, and well, Marios cannot form some kind of attack, so the referee no doubt will blow his whistle. But does Usmakabyle maybe fancy one more goal to add to his tally? It would have been a corner, but the referee's seen enough. He's called time. Marios 2, Usmakabyle 4. And what do you say, Wes? A world champion performance.
It started so well for Marios. It started so well, but then that championship mentality, that pedigree really showed through for Usmakabyle. Again, he was given the license to get that third goal. You cannot give in that environment, especially when you're in almost a position. I mean, again, he's now going to need potentially results to go his way, Marios, to even think about trying to get that second place, because you can only think that maybe Usmakabyle may just take that top spot because he's on 6 points at the moment. He's in very fine form.
He most certainly is, and of course we saw, as you said, a fine start for Marios, and against a player like Usmakabyle, you have to start that way, but also you have to maintain it throughout, and it just felt maybe the gas was lifted a little bit by Marios, and it's hard to maintain that type of pace when Usmakabyle can score goals, excuse me, as I put my teeth back in, just like that. Wes, the perfect reply, just to remind Marios who has the world titles in this matchup. And we saw the Greek go back in front, and it's like, okay, maybe we're going to see a shootout. But seemingly close afterwards, we saw Usmakabyle again, just immediate reply. That's what we talk about when we say World Championship pedigree. Yeah,
he's a bit of a gunslinger, as we've seen so many times in these tournaments prior, or tournaments previous to this. We've seen just at the rate that Usmakabyle can score goals. That is always a warning sign. If you're ever to see that name in any knockout competition, same thing for the likes of, you see like an Etorito or a Nexa or somebody of that ilk, you know that you're in for a very hard game, regardless of the team that you're playing with, regardless of the kind of the circumstances, because you said it very well. Usmakabyle knows how to get the best out of teams. It's almost like he knows the DNA of the clubs that he plays with, and as a result, he gets the best out of those teams.
Yeah, club affinity and club DNA are things we speak about a lot. Usmakabyle, one of the best. We saw that goal there from Liao, but it really was at this stage of the game, maybe Marios just wanted to move up the gears a little bit too fast and enabled those two men in on goal for Usmakabyle to essentially put the game to bed. We speak about him as such a strong knockout tournament player. This is just the group stages, Semra. I mean, this isn't what he lives for. He wants to be in that knockout stage, and he's all but guaranteed it with that result.
I tell you what, you ask, he delivers, right? Yeah. You wanted more goals from him? Well, you got 4. So maybe there'll be even more then after this. Obviously, it's plain sailing for him thus far. It's 6 points from 6, a clean sweep of 2 victories from 2. We'll see, though, if Kalahard can do the same and follow suit, because he's up next against Jeansui. Jeansui hasn't actually able to put any points yet on the board, so that would be quite an interesting, intriguing encounter to see if there is someone who actually keep up with the pace of the likes of Usma. Do you think that he can, Kalahard?
I think so. I think he's got it, certainly from what I've watched on his streams and things of that nature.
That's right. You did seem to be quite a big fan and impressed with what he had done in Mexico, right?
Yeah. And of course, in terms of pedigree, you've got players like the Arsenal style come from Mexico. That's a region that is a hotbed for eFootball, esports talent. And I think Kalahard is the next one up. Granted, yes, I think he's, 30 years old, I think I saw from his bio.
So the other end of the age spectrum.
Yeah, but age is no number. When you have a controller in front of your hands, age is no number.
Well, what about the dexterity of your, hands and fingers and, how quick you can actually react to things?
Well, I mean, there is the argument to that, but I'll keep my stance.
Hey, I'm just throwing it in just in case it does happen to be an interesting part of a conversation.
Indeed.
But anyway, let's take a quick look at mobile and see how things are shaping up over here. So in the last match, we had OBruxoo, who actually lost after picking up 3 points in his first game. He lost to A-Errmiki, who now has 4 points on the board, which means he is now the leader of that group. Very interesting indeed. Next up, we've got his fellow Moroccan Maybe 7X, who is also looking for his first victory of the day. He will be going up against JOYBOY, who picked up 1 point from his opening match. So much tighter group.
A much tighter group, and I tell you what, that's a result that Maybe did not want to see. It means now that he essentially, as we look at the group stage table, we need to see Maybe win his next game. It's as simple as that. I'm fairly certain. In order to make sure that he can get through to the knockout stage. Luckily, we have our boffins here again, our wonderful admin team in the back, making sure that, all kind of tie-breaker implications are followed through to the regulations and the rules set ahead of time. But I'm thinking in my head, if I'm Maybe now, it's win or go home.
It's really intriguing, and it's exciting to see, at least in mobile, just how tight it is, because it is all to play for still. No one has a sure foot into the grand finale of the day as of yet, although things seem to be a little bit different when it comes to the console mode of play. Speaking of which, we have up next some heavy hitters then to see if Kalahard can actually keep up the pace with Usmakabyle at the top of the lot, or if Jeansui can spoil the party. Enjoy.
Can Jeansui spoil the party? The question that Semra asked, I assume it's rhetorical, but probably we're going to find the answer out at the end of this 90 minutes, Wes, against Kalahard, of course, from Mexico. We spoke about him, the Americas regional winner. Somewhat new to the eFootball scene, but streams a lot. There's a lot of information about him out there. And Americas as a region has qualified 2 representatives to the World Finals already, both back in Barcelona, if I remember correctly. So he'll be hoping he can join them. His opponent, of course, Jeansui. Trying to force the issue early on in the home strip. And Kalahard from Mexico will be in that changed away strip, and it seems to me that the man from Thailand, of course very young, has the real opening chances here. Offside that time around, but territory-wise in the opening stages, looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 players will have differing kind of experience levels in terms of being on this type of stage. Of course, Kalahard used to being in front of an audience with his live streams. Of course, on the other side of the fence with Jeansui, won previously a Thailand eFootball League title has also finished in the top 8 of the International Cup in 2022, so has a bit of pedigree with competing in competitions. It would be interesting to see the dynamic between these two, because often we see South America against kind of Asia competitors. It's a real fire versus ice type of gameplay that we'll really see here.
Kalahard will have this in-swinging corner. Looks like he doesn't know whether to play it short or towards the front post. In the end, it's the latter. But it's a very interesting dynamic because, as we said, Jeansui, very young, youth on his side, but the accolades on his side as well, the experience, and usually it's the opposite. Usually you see the elder of the two competitors having that experience, having those intangibles. Of course, life experience comes into it, but for the sake of eFootballing terms, you would say that Jeansui has the more experience towards the top level, even at his young age. And there's a chance here for Kalahard maybe to see what can be done. Hernandez though for Jeansui. He's able to break up the play, and now Loftus-Cheek can, well, he can try and break the lines, but defensively, especially in that midfield, Kalahard has looked good. Near side now. Calabria for company, and that's a very strong tackle and a vital one as well to just relieve that pressure valve a little bit, but it's tightened once more. Benacer now. Okafor back to Benacer, and this is good build-up play from Jeansui towards Adli, and Liao with the header, but just gone a touch too fast there, as the referee's assistant will call for offside.
Yeah, Jeansui looking comfortable with taking pressure on board. He's very happy to just maybe sit there and then hit players on the break. I think that seemingly is what he's looking for here.
As you said, always fun to see the differing styles of play from the different regions, how they complement and nullify each other. We saw it, of course, from Jeansui last week in Munich, winning for the mobile platform, if I'm remembering correctly. Can his compatriot on the opposing platform go one better here? For now, it's Kalahard from Mexico. I think that's the third offside so far here in the 25th minute. Of course, in the game we saw just previous, whereas we had 4 goals by this point, it's looking like closer to 4 offsides.
Yeah, this is a different style of game that you're seeing here compared to the game you have just seen. This is a bit more of a tactical nuance and just trying to utilise the ball. I think for the game we saw between Usmakabyle and Marius, I think it was this one a little bit more thought out, a little bit more, kind of say, almost cagey is the UK parlance for it. Just seems to be a little bit nervy between these two players.
Of course, no doubt, when you look at the landscape of the group, having seen the game we've just seen between Marius and Usmakabyle, both of these players will be chasing Usmakabyle at the top of the group. Jeansui, of course, has already played the man currently leading, and Liao is into Okafor, and Loftus-Cheek to follow up. And Jeansui will open scoring here, opens his account, his first goal of the group stages to make it 1-0 now.
Again, it was good work down the left-hand side, work the opportunity. Again, a little bit of fortune with the ricochet off the save here. We've seen he's fallen to defenders on countless occasions. Said this time falls to the very gleeful right foot of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who sweeps it home for Jeansui's first goal, as you quite rightly said, of this club finals.
Of course, his first match of the groups was up against Usmakabyle, who is head and shoulders above the rest so far. A 1-0 loss to the aforementioned Algerian. Means that Jeansui, who is attacking here as well, could really do with the result here. Adli with the low cross. Manyan met it at the near post. Of course, 1-0 against Usmakabyle, who we've just seen, who scores goals in bunches. Not a bad scoreline at all, but the points are what count at this stage of the competition. 5 to go until half-time. Theo Hernandez. Lovely ball down the line. 3-4 men to look for, and it's Liao who is able to latch onto it. Tricky chance to convert in truth, but might spell the sign of things to come here in what little remains of this first half. Just 2 added on by the referee's assistant, and Kalahard has been fairly quiet for the last 15 or so in-game minutes, but he's got to the byline here. Who can he find? Only Tamori for company. Still alive here though for Kalahard, but dispossessed, and first half is now over, with the man from Thailand dominating proceedings. 1-0 is the lead.
Yeah, very much utilised that counter-attack play style that we have seen to good use. Got himself a goal, got his nose in front. Still yet to see a shot registered by Kalahard, but I'd imagine that's a change from the Mexican.
Of course, the sides have changed as well. Now see Kalahard defending from left to right. He's got defensive duties to do here, defending this left goal. And then, of course, Jeansui going the other way with the 1-goal lead. Tamori heads it on, and Adli is there. With that corner, Jeansui has well started this second half as he ended the first. Okafor can't quite latch onto it, and it's another offside here.
He's very much kept his foot to the floor as Jeansui kind of almost echoes, or at least shows you almost the play style that we said that Marios needed to employ against Usmakabyle. Needed to stay on top. When you're on top, you stay on top. You don't allow your opponent an easy in. I still don't think that we've had a shot registered by Kalahard as yet.
Can that change as he ventures into the box? There's a real chance here with Giroud. He cuts it back! And the first shot is the first goal. Kalahard converts with Chukwueze. And you said it, Wes, you have to stay on top once you get on top, and the door was open for Kalahard, gets his equaliser, and the second half now. There's no doubt set up for drama.
Yeah, it's really good composure from Kalahard. This touch here, takes it towards the goalkeeper, baits out the goalkeeper to dive at his feet, rolls it back to Chukwueze. Really, really good eye there for the Mexican, and we spoke openly about players at this level will look to adopt that 100% chance. They won't like to take any risks if they don't need to. Certainly with a player over there, far easier and more effective to roll it across and allow Chukwueze to tuck that one home.
Jeansui 1, Kalahard 1. As we said, it's mostly about taking the chances when they appear. Kalahard has done well so far. It's coming forward again. Defended well by Jeansui, as we said, youth on his side. Has had tournament results go his way when he was as young as 14. I believe that was a couple of years ago now, so this is going to be a big test after losing his first group match game. Could be a real chance to stamp your authority going into the final group game, of course, coming later today. On the other side, Kalahard, the mission Remains very much the same. Has defending to do though. Okafor. Oh, he's chased this ball down, and it's a wide open goal for Jeansui. The persistence, the pressure from Okafor. Punishing the mistake from the goalkeeper. Kalahard just caught hesitant. And the lead reinstated, 2-1.
That's the risk you have when you try those stunning inputs. When you see the power bar go purple, it takes an extra second or two because it's that risk you have of having more power on your clearance. The issue is, of course, if you've got somebody bearing down on you, as you do here, it is an absolute gift of an opportunity here. He just gets his toe to it, tucks it away. And that is Okafor in a nutshell.
As much as we can bemoan the hesitance, indecisiveness, or as you say, maybe wrong decision from Kalahard to go for that stunning input and take that extra touch, we have to commend the persistence from Okafor just to follow through. And Jeansui is able to buy a ticket to the raffle. I almost used the simile, but I won't this time.
But you're quite right in saying, for Jeansui, you chase down any and all opportunities. You chase them down. You don't allow your opponent to breathe. You don't allow him the opportunity to actually even play out from the back. Instead, actually, you just suffocate him at source. And as a result, there's one key error. And as a result, it is now 2-1.
2-1 indeed. And following the goal, we're seeing, I believe, Kalahard just double-check the team tactics are in order, seeing what Jeansui wants to do with his pause time.
Just something of note as well for those of you at home. If you're looking for an expert way of how to hide your formation from other opponents, make sure you have sub-tactic equipped, because it allows you to basically have your formation as it looks on the screen. But the reality is that if you've clicked your sub-tactic on, actually your team will play in whatever secret way that your opponent won't be able to see.
Top tips from our top pundit, Wes. I'll be using that when I get home.
It's a very easy way of stopping opponents from looking at your tactics, because certainly looking at it here, it doesn't look like a 4-1-4-1 that's attacking here.
Well, we're into the final 20 in-game minutes. Jeansui 2, Kalahard 1. Here's the man from Mexico attacking now, and he's got to the byline. Who can he find? Oh, it's into a forest of players. He'll come back at Jeansui's defence, though. Good foot stuck in, but that's bounced into a dangerous area. Tomori deals with it, and well, he's got a willing runner here in Musa. Liao with just one too many players for company. The tempo just has to increase here as we take a quick look at the group tables. As the ball rolls agonisingly out of play, here's how it would be as things stand, Wes.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be a referee trying to unravel that mystery in either one of those groups, because the way that this is shaping up now with this result, you're going to have people level on points, potentially level on goal difference, level on goals scored. There could be a whole host of ramifications.
Oh,
a terrible
Liao is through. Jeansui! Oh, it's off the post! Oh, that could have sealed it. Still alive here. And Kalahard is living very dangerously at the back. And most importantly, that the in-game time are not on his side either. The tempo from Jeansui has been steady, but it's been steadily increasing as well. What response is there from Kalahard? We asked that of him moments before the goal. But a goal now would be a vital time to score one. And there's a chance maybe for Giroud to make that result certain, but it's Jeansui with the ball, and it's in a difficult position for Kalahard to capitalise off of. It's at the wrong end of the pitch.
Pretty guy, tu. You're gonna miss the flight.
Yeah, I'm boarding. Shining like a superstar, moving like a superstar.
4 minutes added on, so there's still a chance. I think a foul's been given away by Kalahard here. Frustration maybe creeping in. He knows there was a chance in this game, having seen Jeansui's result in his first match, to maybe knock out one of his competitors before the final round of fixtures in this group. But it has, as things stand, Wes, well and truly put the cat amongst the pigeons. And this free kick played into a very dangerous area. Who's this running onto it? Chukwueze. Smartly opting to keep possession here, as we are just creeping over now into the fourth, not quite, of 4 added on. And with this throw in, as long as he gets this right, you'd have to say the time will just be insurmountable. This has been a very tight game of eFootball here at the AC Milan Club Finals, but in the end, great control in the final third from Jeansui, and Chukwueze has a chance to maybe put some icing on the cake, but the 3 points will go his way. Jeansui stays alive in the competition and actually puts himself in a fantastic position in this group. 3 points, 2-1 versus Kalahard.
I'd say it's the driver's seat now to get into that second place berth, because if you look at the final round of fixtures in the console stage, it's Usmakabyle versus Kalahard. Kalahard's going to have to get a result there to stay in contention.
Yeah.
And also, though, that result also just slightly creaks open the door for Marius as well. So it's all really to play for here. I mean, again, we saw, again, it was a really, really well-worked goal for, again, it was just creating that opportunity, getting down the left-hand side, again, causing the goalkeeper to make a save, parries it back into, as we said, a very gleeful Ruben Loftus-Cheek who swept that one home. And from there, you kind of felt as though the Jeansui was very much just in the box seat, was just plodding along, and then all of a sudden we saw Kalahard get one back, and then that really kind of prompted Jeansui to go and get that second.
That it did, and we saw in the opening 25 minutes, didn't we? We remarked on it that in the game we saw previously, we saw 4 goals, and in this game we saw 4 offsides. So both players really trying to force the issue. It was Jeansui who you rightly said, with Loftus-Cheek, able to tuck home the opener. But then this response on the 55th minute really did blow the game wide open. Kalahard then said to Jeansui, all right, I've shown I can score goals against you. Now can you prove you can score more goals against me? And at this point in the game, with it being 1-1, you really couldn't decide who was going to be the one to really make the difference and take home those 3 points. I wonder whether or not that mistake we saw from Kalahard, he might come at the end of the day to think back, why did I take that extra touch with the goalkeeper? Whether or not there was, I don't know, a wrong input,
Like I said,
maybe a bit of hesitation.
it's that stunning input. It takes that extra moment or so for it to kind of kick on. You do get extra power on your kicks, but the trade-off is that the animation takes a lot longer to wind up. So it's almost like you're kind of winding up the pitch, but then you've already struck out, and that essentially what happened there. Okafor closed down the gap. It stormed in, took the ball, and the easiest winning goal you're ever likely to see.
I'll tell you what, it was a masterful control towards the final 10 in-game minutes as well from such a young competitor when you consider as well his first game against Usmakabyle, scores goals for fun, only 1-0. He loses that game. Jeansui could be a dark horse in this competition. Remember the name, because at the end of the day, he could be one of the champions here.
Winner of that game was Usmakabyle, because I think he's actually now officially qualified for the final. Because
Maybe.
mathematically, I don't think anybody can catch him now. He's got 6 points, I think, at best. Maybe, I mean, let's see. Usmakabyle, if he loses, okay. Jeansui, or even Kalahard. No, so maybe I'm wrong, actually.
This is why we allow the boffins to try and tell us what we're going to do.
Sorry, I thought I would just sweep in here and be all like smart with my mathematical equations, but turns out I think I'm just wrong.
Well,
so.
with the console table, you could potentially end up with 3 players on 6 points.
Yeah.
And one of them's going to lose
well, there
out.
you go, even better. So you've got a 3-way tie potentially, and that would be actually very exciting, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, it would. But it would also be turning in a performance at the club finals. You win 2 games, and then someone says, "Sorry, got to go home." Even though you've got 6 points, I think that would be an incredible way to go out.
Okay, well, why don't we switch over to mobile, because this is what we're going to be seeing next, by the way. Match 5 is going to be available on stream between OBruxoo and JOYBOY, which we'll get to in just a minute. But let's just do some quick maths here, because OBruxoo, he won the first game, lost the second one. JOYBOY picked up 1 point, but things improved for him, so 3 points in the second game. That means that both of them, as far as I make it out to be, they're the 2 ones that are currently... No, A-Errmiki is there too. But yes, it's really tight indeed. You've got JOYBOY A-Errmiki on 4 points, and OBruxoo's got 3, just 1 less. Maybe 7x. Well, he definitely does have to try and get something on the board, but I think it's going to be too little too late potentially for him. He might be the first one who's going to be bowing out here. But a nice one then between JOYBOY and OBruxoo. Very tight indeed. Yeah,
very, very tight, and honestly could decide who is going to be the one to advance between the 2 players that we see. I mean, that's the beauty of this type of competition. Not only do we have, of course, the round-robin groups between the 2 platforms, only 4 members in each of those groups, so every single point matters, but also the competition as a whole. These players have been competing to try and qualify to this stage for the last 2 or so months. So it's been grueling. It's been a grueling 2 months, but I love it because anyone can try and qualify for these types of competitions. You don't have to be a pro player. As long as you're good enough to get to this stage, you're in with a chance.
Well, that's the beauty, isn't it? Because most of the players here haven't actually been professional players, historically speaking. Most of them are amateurs, right, officially, but now they are going to maybe change that title into something a little bit more professionalized, then we shall say. Well, look, we've got a great matchup then coming your way on the mobile mode of play. It's going to be OBruxoo against JOYBOY.
OBruxoo versus JOYBOY for what would be, I think it's a winning-in type scenario, isn't it, Wes? If you win this, you take all 3 points, then you punch your ticket to that knockout stage game later on today.
Correct, yeah, it is a case of winner takes everything to the grand final, as it were. It's OBruxoo versus JOYBOY. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these 2 play off against one another. Again, OBruxoo being the experienced one of these 2 players, shall we say, and of course, as you mentioned, JOYBOY being the one that wants to download a little bit about his opponents and wants to figure out what makes them tick. Certainly, he'll have a very experienced player to try and learn from.
I think I figured out what it is, Wes. My in-game name is Wonderboy. Yep, you're mouthing it to me now. It's us boys, they have to stick together.
Yep, absolutely. It's boy code, as it were.
That it is, and we are underway. JOYBOY on the ball with Pulisic in the home strip. Attacking that right-hand goal will be the Brazilian OBruxoo in the all-changed white strip. He'll be trying to defend that goal. Benacer, though, for JOYBOY. Tries to force the issue, and something we've seen so far throughout today and throughout all of the club finals, the mobile platform, yes, there tends to be a bit more chances, but those chances really have to be taken, Wes, because despite there being more chances and more open play, that timer and that clock you see in the top left-hand side of your screen once play resumes, it ticks up a lot faster than you'll see on the console side. So important that when those chances do appear, you tuck them home.
Yeah, we've said it often already today, is that it is a blink and you'll miss it. In terms of these games, they are very fast-paced. They are very attack-orientated, as you see Giroud.
Yeah, Giroud near post here. Oh, he's gone straight for goal. And what a finish that is from JOYBOY. Everyone had their heads up. Look, his finish is the type of finish Giroud can bring to your squad.
Yeah, and he's one of my favourite players for a very, very good reason. The beauty of that goal. The commentary parlance is he's got good feet for a big man. Very good feet for a big man, has Olivier Giroud. You'll see it here, just knocks it there. And rather than looking for the pass across goal, I think he realised that if the pass goes across, the animation for the goalkeeper comes out to parry it wide. Whereas Rose actually, sometimes it's better to go for a shot from that angle, and especially a low one at that. And as you quite rightly mimicked, it was almost that banana shot that you see just go into the corner.
Just that beautiful spin on it with the outside of the boot from Olivier Giroud. Puts JOYBOY well and truly in the driver's seat now in this group. He's played very well so far, but the job is not finished, and certainly for OBruxoo, there is still time on the clock.
OBruxoo may have tempted a little bit of fate here. I remember reading his bio, he was looking forward to representing AC Milan in Tokyo. Such was the confidence of the Brazilian, and he may have just tempted fate here.
Maybe spoken too soon, but I believe in the power of manifestation. You know, you speak it into the universe and it will come to you. Pause queued up. You can see in the top right hand side of your screen, if it's your first time experiencing eFootball with us today, that means the next time the ball goes out of play or play is stopped for a foul, an offside, a throw-in, players will have a chance to tweak their lineups, formations, tactics, as well as personnel. And right on cue, Wes, here is that pause.
Yeah, it's almost it's very deliberate hook of the ball out of play, because you even see there changing formations coming in. But interestingly is that sometimes, as we said, because of the time it ticks down that quickly, if you're looking to get a change done early, you don't want to wait until half time. Because of how quickly it ticks down, you may just want to hook the ball out into touch. The only issue with that, of course, is you give the ball back to your opponent, which could very much be something to worry about here.
Yeah, JOYBOY clearly seeing something he wasn't too happy with. But you're right, it has, I believe, gifted a throw-in over to OBruxoo in JOYBOY's final third. Such is the tactical side of the mobile platform, and as you say, because that timer ticks up much quicker, you do have limited opportunities to make sure your tactics, your formations are all exactly how you want them to be. Musa for JOYBOY now. Lovely 1-2 with Christian Pulisic. Tries to beat Kalulu, but nothing doing. Hanyan came a long way from his goal. We're approaching half-time, and JOYBOY 1, OBruxoo 0. I've enjoyed following the mobile platform this season, Wes. Throughout all the club events we've been to so far, including this one, it's just so much about who can take those chances when they appear. Often in console, we can see you make up for some missed chances, but it's almost cutthroat at this level on the mobile platform. I'll come back to that as Pulisic has plenty of time and space, and Giroud with a header. Oh! How's this one not gone in?
Really good work down the left-hand side. It's just headed down into the ground, just not quite the direction on it from Olivier Giroud.
I don't think Magnan got a touch either.
I don't think he did. I think he was just watching it go wide instead, and that is the confirmation that that is the case. But you're quite right. I think that the subtle beauty in the mobile platform here is the pace that it's played at. Yes, you know, there are some viewers out there that very much like the tactical nuances of console. They very much like the, you know, almost wars of attrition that you can sometimes see. But this one, it's a bit more, as we said, you throw the shackles off and you just go, right, we're going to attack each other relentlessly and we'll just see what happens at the end. Once the dust settles, we'll figure it all out afterwards. But until then, it is all kind of action here between these two and the four that we have seen today.
And it is. It's good fun to watch, good fun to play as well. And we're underway in the second half. Giroud here for Bruges. Wins the ball back and can't quite feed his teammate running into the box. But JOYBOY has been impressive throughout today. We've seen him with results both on and off of our stream. Trikwezi can't find Olivier Giroud, of course, beating A-Ermiki earlier on in the stream. JOYBOY, again, I picked him at the top of the show. He looked to be one of the stronger competitors coming into today. You know, India's such a massive population there. If you can take a big sample size from that country, put them into esports, no doubt they'll find success. There's a chance for Bruges though. Here comes JOYBOY. Already with one goal to the good. Can't quite break down that far side. Out of danger. It looks like the two Tomoris just playing football tennis there, Wes.
Yeah, a little bit of volleyball between the two. But again, that's I suppose when you look at AC Milan as a club, in terms of if you were to put these two teams, as we're seeing, up against one another, the attacking style of Olivier Giroud would probably go against that style of Tomori. And the physical encounters, they're very much 50-50s.
Final 15 in-game minutes for Bruges. He'll no doubt be thinking at the moment, I should have put Do Not Disturb on.
Yeah, certainly. He has. He's not put himself on airplane mode. Long left here, and if you're going to change it around at that point, especially in the mobile platform, is it too little too late is the real question.
Looks like the personnel overload to be on that left-hand side. Thankfully for Bruges, he's not had too many unsavoury notifications come up just yet, but it will take you out of the concentration, and at this level, on this platform, with this control scheme, it can be really just a moment's hesitation, and we saw it in the previous game, didn't we? On the console platform, Kalahard just a lapse in concentration, trying to queue up that input with his goalkeeper. In the end, was the difference between the points being shared and all 3 points going the other way.
Yeah, and that's it. It can be moments. If you know, it's almost an immersion breaker. If you're zoned out for a second, it can cost you. At the highest level, it can and will cost you.
Final throws of the game. JOYBOY looking on course to feature in the knockout stage match later on. OBruxoo, is there a chance for him to share the points here? Nice turn, Loftus-Cheek. Tamori's up from the defense, but it will not matter. It is JOYBOY who comes out with the 3 points from our match on stream. 1-0 the score, 3 points going back to India for JOYBOY, and a really, really strong record in the group stages.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what we have seen already, you can, as we already mentioned, if you're sitting around and your first kind of introduction to us is, I want to learn from my opponents. Certainly he's going along that vein of picking up the tricks and picking up the skills and picking up what is effective. And certainly that is one to be looking at from his perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing some of the action and the goals from the game we just saw. I say the goals, I mean, of course, just the one goal. But it was a really, really solid performance from JOYBOY. And again, like you say, when you're a newcomer to the eFootball scene and you make comments like, hey, I want to learn the tricks from my opponents, I want to be put in a position where I can improve myself in the future, and you come out with solid performances like that, you're right, that's the making of a future star in this type of competition.
Absolutely. And again, you made mention, of course, in terms of India as an emerging nation, not only just in football, but in virtual football, within esports, within everything as a nation. You know, and again, they are a passionate fan base. You only have to ask some of my pals at home who watch cricket in terms of the fandom that goes with that can transport itself to esports. They could rival a lot of teams for passion, certainly.
They certainly can, and of course for OBruxoo, coming from Brazil, it's difficult to see a way he makes it out of this group, Semra, but again, that's the reason we have our wonderful admin team in the back, our referees, because we're not great at mathematics, so we got them in the back making sure everything is being followed.
I love how often we feel the need to say that, by the way.
If you don't know by now, you're going to know.
Yeah,
We
you know by now, we just want to make sure you all know. We're not exactly that sharp on it, so we do thankfully have people who are putting these lovely graphics together to let us know exactly where we stand. I mean, listen, we've had 5 games down in the group stage. We have 1 more left to go for both console and mobile. Why don't we take a quick look then and see where we're actually at? Let's take stock here then, shall we? Obviously, we've seen what just happened. You guys already brilliantly explained what went down between OBruxoo and JOYBOY. We have that final match between maybe 7X and A-Ermiki, the all-Moroccan match here in the group stage for mobile. But whenever it comes to console, why don't we see if we can have a quick look then at that. Here we go. So, Usmakabyle, 3 more points. 9 on the board then. A clean sweep for him against Kalahard, who is going to have a hard time then trying to book his ticket into the final alongside the man representing Algeria. Then we have that last fixture for you, Jeansui, against Marios, who is, I believe, yet to pick up a single point so far. Jeansui, however, I think is still in the running.
I think he is. Again, I'm so grateful for our referees
well,
here.
there you go. He is in the running. I mean, he's 6 points behind, but it's down between him and Kalahard.
Honestly, this could get very messy towards the end of this group. I will say, love that for the console platform. No draws yet. We haven't had a single draw. There's been a decision in every single game.
All or nothing.
So I like that. I hope that spells some nice drama and entertainment for us later on. I'm sure it will. But yeah, that group. Oh, it looks so tight.
So, can you believe it? I mean, JOYBOY, I guess, is the only other person who's officially, yeah, he would be, right? He's booked his place too. So, that means that both the second spot for mobile and console is still very much up for grabs. But that's just how we like it. We do like a little bit of contention still towards this final match of the group stage on both sides. At least there's still something to play for, and still quite a few fair finalists involved, really.
Again, my
I mean, if you had to wager a guess, look, because quite frankly, it's down to Jeansui and Kalahard or A-Ermiki and OBruxoo. If you had to hedge a bet, who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, it's difficult because it could also be Marios, because he then plays Jeansui.
I was going to say, I can happily jump in here and help you out with this. So, if we're thinking about tiebreakers at home, folks, again, just hear me out. Follow me on this.
I'm going to write this down.
Starts on goals scored. Then it goes to goal difference. If those are level, it then goes to the head-to-head in that game of their opponents. So realistically, it is 1 from 3 in the console. I think if my maths are right, A-Ermiki is going to play JOYBOY in the final because he can't be caught because OBruxoo's played all 3 games now. So A-Ermiki's in, JOYBOY's in, but then it is 1 from 3 on that top, and it just depends on this last game. If you want drama, folks, we've got it here in abundance.
Yes, that's exactly what we want. We want drama. We want a 3-way tie for second.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, thank you for explaining that, by the way. That was very well done. So let's see then who is going to be joining Usmakabyle in the console final. It's going to be potentially one of these 3, 2 of which are going to be lining up against one another right now. Is Jeansui against Marios.
This is the part of the group where it gets a little bit more complicated. And I'm glad you summed it up for us just before we are getting underway here. It's our final console group stage match between Jeansui of Thailand versus Marios of Greece. If I'm right in saying Marios is behind quite a lot on goal difference based on his results against Usmakabyle and also Kalahard in this group.
Correct, but you also have to think about as well is that Marios has scored goals. Whereas there's so many permutations here, folks. Jeansui has only scored, I believe it's 2 goals in this group. So there are so many different things that we've got to, I mean, if Jeansui wants to make this simple for us, if he can just go ahead and win this game, that would make it so much more simple for everybody here. However, though, he is up against Marios, who we saw start very quick against Usmakabyle. And again, it just depends on how play styles match up against one another. Of course, I will no doubt hold for bated breath after this game to try and figure out, or to let the referees and admins figure out who's gotten through to the final alongside Usmakabyle. Again, who made itself very simple for himself, got all 9 points and was just like, well, you 3 can just war it out amongst yourselves. I'll wait for whoever's here in the final and that be that. But this, though, again, with the stakes that are on the line, with the fact that Marios needs to win just to have an entry into the conversation. That's simple. If Jeansui wins, there is no conversation to be had. And if it's a draw, again, no conversation to be had. Jeansui will go through. It is win or bust here for Marios. It just depends on all of the other things that could potentially be triggered here.
Well, Marios is starting very nicely here with Okafor, and we said he needs a win, Wes, and I believe he needs to win big. And I believe he needs to win big. He started off as he did against Usmakabyle with a goal in the opening 5 minutes, this time in the opening 2.
If my memory serves correctly, he was on -3 before this game started, and Jeansui was on 0 for goal difference. So it's what, a 3-goal or 2-goal swing that is all that is required. And what a start that we have seen here from Marios. Again, clean eFootball, just gets it through the lines, gets the wrong side of a defender, and then he's decisive with the decision making, gets into the box, knows he's got Okafor to his left, slots it across, and the man rolls it home for 1-goal, 2-0.
Well, never have I been more grateful for our adrenaline refs, our fantastic group we have behind the scenes running the competition this season, because, well, I'm grateful for you as well, Wes, but those are the people who make it official.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And for Mariusz, he knows the task. He absolutely knows the assignment here. A draw, no good. He needs a win with plenty of goals to go with it. As we've seen throughout today, we've spoken about both of these players' youth across the board. Two of the youngest players we've seen go up against each other head-to-head so far. And, well, Loftus-Cheek forces a wonderful save. Manyan called into action for Mariusz. And this was a real star-studded chance there on the half volley for Loftus-Cheek. Maybe should have tucked that one away.
Yeah, big save from Mainan, but it's not quite over in terms of danger here.
It's Mori at that front post is the target. Down to Liao! It's gone all the way through. Through a forest of players, so many bodies. A draw is good enough for him at this moment in time.
Now, again, perfect time to respond. It's Tamori against Tamori. And again, we talk about 50-50s and about who can win the battle. It then comes down to manual positioning. And again, just getting the player, or getting Tamori just in front of his opponent, manages to get the flick on, and probably finds the only space that he could have put that ball.
Well, the console platform today has delivered and then some. Plenty of action, plenty of goals. As I said before, not a single draw in this group stage so far. I would hate to jinx it, of course, because Mariusz needs to win by a decent margin. Cheek now for Jeansui, and, well, he's got the ball, says the referee. Did Mariusz. Trying to look across the board for our Greek representative here. I'm not seeing Olivier Giroud unless I've missed him somewhere. Looks like Benacer is in the midfield. Layout in the centre, double touch around to
I'm thinking of here is that if the first separator is goals scored, Mariusz might only just need to win this by the odd goal, because, again, the amount of goals he's scored in the group stage so far, he's been scoring goals. So, you know, that may be kind of rock and roll kind of play style that we saw against Usmakabyle may actually help him out here. Of course, if results stay as it is, as we see Okafor into the box, but results stay as it is, it won't matter a jot. He needs to have the victory. Jeansui may not let him have it.
And the man you mentioned is coming forward with Loftus-Cheek. And forces a corner out of Mariusz. That's a good point you raise, Wes, because the tiebreaker waterfall is a little different in this type of competition. Loftus-Cheek from the corner of Jeansui. It's finally cleared away by Mariusz. Goal difference comes after goals scored in that tiebreaker waterfall. So you're right, depending on how close this gets to a cricket score, we may see a twist in the tail. We'll leave that to our referees in the back, but for now, we keep our eyes peeled to our final match of the group stages today. Monkier is able to win the ball back for Jeansui, and our far side is, well, his touch let him down.
Yeah, nearly came unglued there by that stunning input. Again, we saw Kalahard be caught a little bit cold with it. Well, defensive clearance nearly on his pocket pinch there.
Looks like both men just waiting for a break in the play at the moment. But these last 10, 15 or so in game, Jeansui has really been starting to turn the screw. Chukwueze, Rafael Leao. Blocked well by Mariusz Okafor. Into the feet of Musa, and there's a real chance for Mariusz. It's gone all the way through. With half-time approaching, he reinstates his lead, and as you say, Wes, the more goals he scores, the more chance this result could be telling in the tiebreaker equation.
What a big moment to score just before half-time. They always say in football, it'll change a team talk, and certainly that will for Mariusz. Again, neat play, it's really quick opportunity. First time strike from the edge of the box, rolls it into the back of net. Wonderful finish from him. And as you quite rightly said, if it's goals scored, that's the first separator. He may be in the box seat here without even really realising it.
Well, you're absolutely correct in saying it's the quick opportunities that Manyan seems to be getting caught out by today. 2 goals for Mariusz. Just before. He changed his tactics or personnel at the half. Speaking of, there might be more goals. The referee, well, makes the first half official. Quick glimpse of the stats we saw there. The big stat that matters is it's our good friend Mariusz. 2 goals to 1 up against Jeansui.
Again, very much feels like he's in the box seat here, in control of the game as well. With that goal just before half-time, just snatches the impetus.
Leao tries to latch onto it. Manyan called into action. He's still out of his goal here. As the side swap in the second half, Mariusz still in the white strip. But key to note, Wes, with 2 youngsters here, you just have to wonder how much have they really read into the rules and regulations and tiebreaker equations. I know when I was competing in esports back then, I didn't really care too much about the rule book. I just knew I had to go in and win. But the situational awareness is what can separate you, as defensively Marios half gets away with one, half does solid defensive work.
I think as an eFootball veteran of seeing many tournaments, you always check the rules and regulations because you never quite know what's the first separator. And in this instance, it's goals scored that is the first separator. So if that is the case, which I'm sure we will get a clarification on from one of our production team. See, beautiful ball across.
Really nice ball, Chukwueze. Just denied by the manual goalkeeping of Jeansui, and well, danger still on. Liao inside the box. Simon Kier for company. Oh, it's off the bar again, off the woodwork. Off that left-hand upright. Bounces around, but can't quite find a follow-up there.
L'affluenza di quest'oggi è di 80.314 spettatori.
This has been a tremendous game. Okafor, now for Jeansui, dispossessed. The intervention is... well, it comes at a vital time. Speaking of a vital time, it's time for a quick breather, as there's now a chance for players to swap in personnel and swap around tactics here at the pause screen.
Yeah, again, this is, we talk about moments, we talk about vital moments. It's these pauses that, as we said, it's like dropping a pebble into a lake, and those ripples, you're not really going to realise what happens until it works its way out. Certainly here, as you quite rightly can see, there'll be more of a conservative formation that's shown on your screen here, but of course, please don't be fooled by that, because of course, if there are sub-tactics in play, then the real tactic that they are actually keeping under their wraps, as it were, can actually prove the difference.
And it can. You don't want to be giving up too much information to your opponent if you can help it at any point. At the same time, at this point of the game, Wes, with so much on the line, knowing you need a result to go your way, one way or the other.
It's how much you gamble at this point. If
Also,
you're Jeansui,
how much you get stuck in that analysis paralysis. Do you overthink things and then you're all of a sudden not confident or not comfortable in how your team's playing? These are all dangers you can face at this stage of the competition.
and sometimes lose a game by omission. By not doing anything, you can sometimes gift your opponent an inroad.
Sostituzione per il Milan. Numero 10, numero 7, numero 14.
So after an extended break, the corner is swung in, and Hernandez for Jeansui has a strike close to goal, but just too many defenders between him and that, and well, the pressure is relieved by the man on that far side. I think it was Hernandez. Just a little bit slow to get back in front of the defenders. "65 in-game minutes, just ticking over now. And a reminder, this is still the group stages, so a draw is a possibility. There's no extra time, no penalties. Those come in the games following this one. Our mobile and console grand final. We will just have to wait and see who will be featuring in those. For now, Jeansui on the attack. Giroud just... Musa Liao is inside, no doubt he's the target here. Back heel towards Giroud, but that's cut out well by Marios. And Pulisic opens up a nice angle with the double touch, but it's just getting very nervy here. And Liao for Marios can't latch on to that 1-2. Both players going for this.
Yeah, they're very much throwing caution to the wind here, and kind of maybe a little bit, as you mentioned, in terms of how much they really know the kind of the potential reactions that can happen as a result of this result in itself.
Musa. Oh, lovely ball to Giroud. Oh, saved by Magnan. That is a very important save. In truth, it was straight at him, but you expect Giroud to produce a finish in that type of scenario. How much will that frustrate Jeansui? Needing a goal in these final 10 in-game minutes. Oh, looked like a good challenge there, but the referee sees it differently. More changes, and I think I speak for everyone, Wes. Whatever happens following this game, we have two fantastic competitors, and the future of eFootball esports is very bright indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. If you may have seen some names that were from yesteryear. These are the new ones that are on the block, as it were. Yeah, so just to kind of clarify, I had my rules just a slight wrong way around here. It's not goal scored first, goal difference. So that even in itself complicates things even more. And it's goal differences, then goals scored, then head to head. And if everything matches up at that point, there's an extra match that might be needed.
Christian Pulisic inside the box to Loftus-Cheek. Liao is waiting, he gets on it, and who's there? It's Olivier Giroud. Can he produce a finish? No clear sight of goal. Florenzi for Jeansui, just searching for that equaliser. End-to-end stuff here, you just don't know which way this is going to go. Good read by Marios. Met in kind by the Florenzi of Jeansui, but that's a bit of a waste, and we're in the 90th now. Stoppage time, is there a last attack here? Pulisic goes for it, maybe trying to catch Magnan off his line, maybe a missed input. Well, it looks like this one might be up to the boffins in the back, Wes. Unless there's a chance, there's not. Marios will take the 3 points with a 2-1 scoreline. What a game of eFootball. Both men left.
We're going to see the graphic along with Semra, and we're just going to have to figure out what happens next.
Well, for now, that game was absolutely brilliant. Marios with the dream start, as he did against Usmakabyle. Early goals seem to be in his locker.
Yeah, absolutely. He seems to be a very quick starter. He wants to kind of catch his opponent's call before they even settle into any type of rhythm. He wants to get in there and say, hey, I can get a goal here, and this is going to be where we kind of live for a bit. And it certainly looked like it was Marios's control that he had in the early going, and then it was a pretty quick fire response from Jeansui, and then, of course, we saw the goal just before half-time that proved to be the difference maker between these two.
I mean, that was a very, very enjoyable game of eFootball. I know I enjoy even the state because the chances that were being made, the level of eFootball we saw on display in that first and second half especially, I mean, just absolutely fantastic. You can see it from the highlights. I mean, I know all 3 goals came in that first half, but that second half, you could go back and watch it and enjoy every single chance that was almost a goal.
Yeah, in terms of both halves gave you different things to latch onto. The first half had all the goals, the second half had all the drama. It had all of those chances to have chances, those half chances of, if I'd have played the right pass there, or if I'd maybe have put a challenge in here, it may have changed the kind of the complexion of the game. But as it turned out, it was 2-1. And now we all wait with bated breath here to see graphics, we wait to see results, and we wait to see exactly what that meant to the table.
But regardless of what happens, I will point out that Mariusz hit the woodwork, hit the frame of the goal, not once, but twice in that game.
Thundered the bar, if I remember rightly.
And of course, that left-hand upright when he was attacking the right-hand goal, our right-hand goal. You just have to wonder if those chances go in, and we would be saying at this point in time, yeah, certainly it is Mariusz featuring later on, but at this point, we're not too sure. There were plenty of chances, but in the end, it was just about who was going to be the man to take the majority of them. That time around, it's Mariusz Semra, but we don't know who's through.
Well, then there were 4. The question is, which 4 are they? And I tell you what, for all of those efforts in that final game, look at your face. For all of those efforts, it did him no good. Because in the other game, Kalahard was able to mount a comeback in terms of points. And he is the one who has actually crept his way into that final alongside Usmakabyle, someone who obviously we expected to be there, quite frankly. But look at you, the two of you just stunned.
We're stunned. We're speechless because we were thinking, this will be a straight shootout between Mariusz and Jeansui, but then Kalahard says, guys, I'm still in the competition.
Yeah,
you know
don't forget about me.
It's goal difference. It's king by the look of things. It looks as though that because he didn't lose by that many to Usmakabyle, that there's so many different ways. We need a table graphic. That's what we need. We need a table graphic. I need to see how this broke down.
Okay, well, I'm sure they will put it up for us in a moment, but let's just kind of revel in the other final that we have coming up, at least for mobile, JOYBOY against A-Ermiki. So that's an intriguing one too, isn't it? I mean, I kind of think, or at least I remember one of you, maybe it was you, Wes. No? OBruxoo, maybe it was you. I think it was you at the beginning of the day.
OBruxoo, I think was mine.
You were saying you thought that he was going to be a serious contender, given his pedigree in Brazil, but he's the one who's sent packing, and all of a sudden A-Ermiki has managed to sneak his way in there alongside who you said you had a funny feeling about today, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Us boys, we have to stick together. You know, Wonder Boy and JOYBOY. You know, you see a boy in the name, you have to gravitate the boy.
Fair.
But, yeah,
I'll take that.
I tell you what, credit to A-Ermiki though. I think we saw the rematch of those two. Well, we'll see the rematch, but we saw the first match between JOYBOY and A-Ermiki earlier. I believe it was 2-1 to JOYBOY. Very close game from what I remember, Wes, and that should be a fun rematch.
Yeah, it really should, especially with the slight carrot being that you get to go to Tokyo for the World Finals. It's not bad to have on the line in a rematch, is it?
Not bad at all. Well, let's see if we can have a look then at the final standings for the groups now that those 6 matches have been done and dusted for console and mobile. Why do I keep saying console? Console and mobile. It's like I keep blending the two together and I've created a new platform.
Got a bit of flair about it.
Yeah, there you go. It's got a little twang with my accent. Yeah. There you go. Right, so I don't know if we have it or not, but it would be nice to look at it. I agree with you. So, anyway.
One thing we can ascertain from the group stages, you can see, of course, Usmakabyle, JOYBOY, the 2 main winners, but then it was wide open in the other 3 spots, aside from the mobile group. It was pretty much between A-Ermiki and OBruxoo. But that 3-way shootout in that console group stage, I would love to see the final group table maybe a bit later on, because honestly, that could have gone either way. We can
do a recap at some point if we can't do it now.
I would love that. Yeah,
but I think interestingly now is that you can cast aside all of those group games now, because it's 1-game shootouts now. It is all or nothing. You've got 1 game, potentially extra time and penalties.
I was going to say, you reckon we're going to get to penalties this time again? Three times
I can almost guarantee that it's going to happen, because that's how tight all of these players are playing against one another. 2-1 in the mobile game. I believe it was 2-1 for Usmakabyle against Kalahard in their group game. They're only 1-goal differences. They're not, and you can only imagine that it's individual mistakes. You can those out in a knockout phase. Anything is possible.
We don't have Thomas Müller with us this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Luckily, we have no spoilers because he picked both winners last week in Munich. He also called a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I'm going to hold you both to it then. I'm going to hold you to at least one game with a penalty shootout. Harry?
I'm going to say...
Walk me through this one, because we're going to start with the mobile final between JOYBOY and A-Ermiki. Any final thoughts that we should know about, or anything we should really pay attention to in this particular final, based on what we've seen from the two of them so far today?
I would say JOYBOY looked more comfortable in that first group game. But as Wes rightly said, the chance to represent this great club in the World Finals in Tokyo later this summer is the thing that's being dangled and can add pressure 10 times what would be a usual tournament or knockout stage game. So any of these final four could represent Milan at Tokyo later this summer. I honestly couldn't pick either winner.
Flip of the coin then.
Sadly so.
Okay, well listen, two of them undoubtedly will. So let's find out who for the mobile mode of play is going to be headed over to Japan then in a few months' time. It's between JOYBOY and A-Ermiki.
From there, it looked as though if there was going to be another goal scorer in the game, it was actually going to be JOYBOY. He very much almost ran the ball into the post at one point with 15 minutes left to go in the game. But full credit to JOYBOY. Commiserations, of course, to A-Ermiki. But yeah, India have a representative that's going to represent AC Milan in Tokyo in the summer.
And it's fantastic to see, and I have to give credits as well to JOYBOY Sema on that goal. What a ball from Giroud, I believe it was, to Leao. Really perfectly cushioned for him to run onto it. The finish just as good.
And I suppose I have to give credit to you as well, because your intuition was on point today. Well done, Harry.
Thank you very much.
I suppose that comes from being in the vicinity of someone like Thomas Müller. He rubbed off on you.
It's
a
by
little
osmosis that the predictions have just gone on to you.
As he's not here today, it means that he had to have
shake hands, so maybe there was like a kind of body swap kind of thing going on there. But yeah, I don't know. I just had a feeling about JOYBOY today. Us boys have to stick together, and I can't wait to see what he can do at the World Finals, because what he showed here today is that he can hang with the best mobile players in the world.
Well, we did say that perhaps we'd bring joy to the conversation today, not just the conversation, but to the competition, to India as well. And he certainly has delivered on that. So a very big congratulations to the first ever eFootball champion from India. JOYBOY is here with us now. Let's get his thoughts after becoming crowned champion of the mobile platform. JOYBOY, tell us, how does it feel to be the representative of AC Milan at the World Finals?
Yeah. It's really unbelievable experience to win the finals. I used to play this game for fun and to relieve the stress in normal times.
अब बनो सिर्फ यार से सुपरस्टार every day with the widest range of unique styles and collections from Myntra.
पाओ सबसे unique looks from 100% original brands सिर्फ Myntra पे.
एक बात तो है पक्की के शून्य में है शक्ति. एक बात तो है पक्की के शून्य से.
देश की जानी मानी कंपनियों ने पहचानी है इलेक्ट्रिक वाहनों की शक्ति. आइए नीति आयोग के शून्य अभियान के साथ देश को स्वच्छ हवा की ओर ले चलें. इस बदलाव में भागीदार बने. अब मिशन शून्य पोल्यूशन.
I used my usual tactics. In every match I play, I always wanted to play calm and keep my composure. And I did the same in finals too, and it helped me in my win. I really wanted to take a lead as soon as possible. I got a chance in the 18th minute, and I tried scoring a header with Giroud, but his goalkeeper Manan was too good. I missed the corner after that, and then from there he made a counter attack which gave him a 1-0 lead. Then I started making offensive changes, pushing my wingers forward. Still my tactics were not good enough to break his defense. I was a little nervous, but I tried keeping composure. I then made decision to bring Rafael, and then he made very good runs, which helped me in the comeback. I also got a chance in the 74th minute to score with Rafael, but it hit the post. Little disappointment there, but he could not finish the hat-trick. That was the disappointment. But other than that, he performed really well, and it was the best decision in the game.
Well, listen, it's great you were able to keep your composure, to keep your nerves and your emotions in check, because obviously it paid off massively for you. So let's talk Tokyo. Let's talk your ticket to Japan. Maybe you've had the chance to think about this, maybe you haven't yet. But how do you think you'll go about preparing for the World Finals?
I'm really happy that I qualified, and I'm really excited for World Finals. You know, and I'm really excited for World Finals. You know, like I have a lot of legendary favorite players from AC Milan. Especially, I love Zlatan. Zlatan is like my idol in football, and his mentality and confidence, and to represent such amazing club in finals, it is really an honor for me. And I'll do my best, and I still have a lot to learn, and I will improve my gameplay better than today. It will be better than today, and I will definitely give my 100% in World Finals. I'm really excited for this new experience.
Well, there you go. More to come then from JOYBOY. Thank you very much. And again, congratulations. Bravo. Well done. Go out there, celebrate your big win today, because you certainly deserve it. Let's find out, though, who's going to be joining him in Japan. We've obviously seen that Harry has been quite on point with his predictions. Whereas you want to take a stab at Usma, the multi-champion over the years, versus Kalahard, someone who is relatively new to the scene here?
Do you know? And that's the I'm going to take your fence, because all of the form book.
It's a big fence.
It's a massive fence. But the form book says that Usmakabyle walks into this final and just cleans house, and Kalahard has absolutely no chance. But to steal the phrase that you used earlier, in a game like this, everybody has a puncher's chance. So if Kalahard can get ahead early, then anything, again, is possible. But then again, we saw Marius earlier took a goal lead, and it was like Usmakabyle just kind of shrugged it off and went, I'm just going to score 4. It's all right. It's fine. I'll just shrug it off. So it's so close to
My
goal.
only question mark is how much of the bruise is still there from losing at the Barcelona club finals for Usmakabyle.
That is a very good point to mention.
We'll see if he can shake it off.
Okay, so this is the second time that he's reached the finals out of 3 club events that we've had so far. It will be very interesting indeed to see how Usmakabyle pulls through or doesn't, because maybe Kalahard will make it hard for him. Nonetheless, it is the grand finale for the console mode of play. Do enjoy it. Multi-champion Usmakabyle against Kalahard.
Console final is just moments away. Usmakabyle. If you know eFootball esports, you know the name. Goes up against Kalahard, a newcomer to the eFootball esports scene. Wes, I know he streams quite a lot, but this is a very, very tricky task he has ahead of him. Going up against a 3 8-time world champion.
Yeah, as arenas go, it's very different from being on your couch or in your gamer chair with or in your gamer chair with your scored between Kalahard and Jeansui. It was level goal difference, level points.
Wow.
Went to goals scored, and it was a solitary goal.
Importantly, the champion from Mexico, representing AC Milan in Tokyo later this summer. David versus Goliath, and David wins.
David smites Goliath in this. What I can only describe it as, it was one moment that defined that game, and we'll see it again in the highlights. It was that header. On any other day, that hits the post and goes wide, or as we saw in the second half header, it hits the post and goes across the goal mouth. In that occasion, ricochets off the post and hits the back of the net.
Well, we can take a look at some of the highlights, Wes. I know they cut to us and I was shocked. This is no disrespect at all to Kalahard, but the fact we've seen Usmakabyle qualify for 2 finals this season, I did not expect in a million years he would lose 2 out of those 2. That is unprecedented from that caliber of player. but Kalahard just had something about him today. Had those finishes.
Was the console group stage as it was in terms of getting qualification through on goal legacy, and it came at his defence. It was long ball forward to Giroud and just buy some time, keep it in the confines of the pitch. The clock will continue to tick, and it puts more pressure onto Usmakabyle, who couldn't overcome that pressure, which again is a surprise to both me and you.
Yeah, it's a surprise because Usmakabyle, again, we're used to him winning, but defensively, Kalahard well and truly at the races today, Semra. An unbelievable performance to hold on to that lead, score to get the lead, but then hang on to it against a player of his opponent's caliber. Yeah, with that type of performance, AC Milan have a very strong champion.
Hey, listen, the wild card for the win. We wanted to see the unexpected happen, so it did. And we actually can now cross over to speak with Kalahard, our new champion, who's going to be representing AC Milan in a few months' time in Japan. Kalahard, tell me, how are you feeling right now? You must be absolutely overjoyed.
La verdad estoy muy emocionado, estoy contento por haber ganado este torneo. El Milan ha sido uno de mis equipos favoritos durante toda la vida que recuerdo, y bueno, espero poder demostrarlo más adelante, y bueno, estoy emocionadísimo, contento, y bueno, a ver qué sale después.
He says he's very that he's wanted to do for a very long time. He hopes that he can continue in this vein going forward, and that, of course, there's still more to come from him, but overall he's feeling very, very happy indeed. So tell me then just how you managed to do this, because we are talking about a hugely difficult opponent that not many people get the chance to actually defeat, but you did it with a clean sheet to boot, with a beautiful goal from Giroud. Tell me about this process in terms of how you went into the final, your preparation, and how you actually managed to win in the end.
La verdad es que fue un partido bastante complicado. El hecho de meter un gol o meter ese centro con Chukwueze para que rematara Giroud, la verdad es que le cabeció espectacular. No sabía cómo le había pegado tan fuerte, pero esto de mantener el resultado es complicado. Jugarle a un multicampeón es muy difícil. Ha sido una inspiración para mí durante mucho tiempo, pero ahora jugar y ganarle creo que conlleva gran mérito, y pues bueno, la verdad es que sí fue difícil ganar contra Usmakabyle.
He said that there is a lot of merit in beating someone of the ilk that Usmakabyle is the champion, and he's absolutely right. He definitely does deserve a lot of merit for it. But he also spoke to how complicated the game actually was, and he was quite pleased with how Chukwueze was able to make that cross into the box for Giroud to perform a spectacular header to actually get that goal. But then beyond that, to actually continue to defend the lead, he said, was very, very complicated and very difficult. But in the end, he managed to get past someone who has been an inspiration to him for a very, very long time, and who has taken him to the likes of today, now champion. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Kalahard, what is it that we can expect from you whenever you go to Japan? How do you think you'll approach the preparation when it comes to the World Finals?
Tengo muchísimas ganas de ir al torneo, la verdad es que estoy súper emocionado. Me va a costar un poquito trabajo practicar, sobre todo porque hay gente que no, necesito checar con grandes competidores que han participado anteriormente o con amigos para poder agarrar ese mismo nivel, sobre todo con el equipo. No estoy muy familiarizado todavía con el estilo con el que se juega con el equipo, pero mientras más práctica mejor. Sé que en julio va a ser un torneo mucho más difícil, más exigente, pero espero poder adaptarme lo mejor posible y sacarle el máximo provecho a todos los jugadores para poder ganar o para intentar ganar el título.
So he says he knows and understands that the competition in July is going to be much more difficult than it has been up until now, and obviously he's going to do everything that he possibly can to go on and to win it, but he still has to get more familiarized with AC Milan, with the team itself, with the players, and to the style of play. He needs to adapt a little bit more, so he's going to be looking for people he can practice with, which he says might be a little bit difficult, but he does have to look for people who have been in these scenarios before, who have competed at this level, who can help him to get ready, or maybe just play with friends as well. But nonetheless, he's going to do what he can to make sure that he brings his A game when we see him in Japan. And as you guys said, by the way, muchas gracias, por cierto. Thank you very much, Kalahard, and congratulations once more. Go and enjoy your big victory, and we'll see you very soon in Japan on the other side of the world. And it's going to be absolutely sublime when we get there. I mean, we've had some fantastic winners so far over these past few weeks.
We have, and when he talks about training partners, of course, back in Barcelona, we had 2 from his same region, the Americas, qualify for both mobile and console. So he'll have at least one practice partner, I'd imagine. But yeah, an incredible tournament. One thing we've barely had a chance to touch on really is the type of in-game items available. Obviously, the big time Giroud coming into play there for
coming up big time.
Kalahard. Big time, like you say. I mean, that's the type of toys these guys have to play with. I want to call them toys.
Big time Rafael as well, scoring in the other one.
I definitely call them weapons, because that's essentially what you can do. You can do as much damage to your opponent as you can. We saw Leao, we saw Giroud, we saw Tomori as well having a big time card in there. They're all weapons that they have at their disposal, and again, it's just about how you implement them. So I can appreciate Kalahard's almost plea for some people to come and play against him, because once you do get qualified for an event like, as we've seen in the World Finals, you're going to need those sparring partners, because it's one thing playing Dream Team and playing the mode that we have seen for quite a few years now. It's a very different thing coming into a set rules and regulations where you've got only these players to play against. It's a very different prospect and something you really have to prepare for. It's not something you can just kind of pick up and just play. You have to have some months behind you to practice.
Okay, well, there you have it. It's a wrap when it comes to the AC Milan finals, but there's still plenty more to come. We have, for example, Arsenal, Manchester United just around the corner. So make sure that you stay up to date about those particular competitions, about eFootball, all across our platforms and our social media as well. But guys, I just want to give you the opportunity to say any final thoughts that you may have after yet another brilliant day. I know I say it, but it is the truth, quite frankly.
It's honestly always a joy commentating these club finals. I will say though, we're getting down now to the stage of the season where the spots in the musical chairs, they're starting to run out. So we're going to see players start to scramble to qualify, which means we'll see more desperate play and more goals. So make sure you tune into the future club events, because it's going to be even more drama.
Yeah, to echo that, the sands of time are falling by the wayside. You are running out of time to get your ticket to Tokyo in the summer. There is not that many events left. As you mentioned, Arsenal, Manchester United on the deck coming soon. Make sure you're involved, folks, because there's not that many spots left. There really isn't. You are running out of time. Please qualify. You need to qualify.
I feel like we should have one of those, what do you call them, the old school timers with the
signs. Yeah, we need like a countdown clock behind us.
Yeah, it's a really big one, because you two love to talk about that. So certainly the pressure is on, isn't it? Well, thank you to everyone for being here with us, to all of our finalists, to Konami, to AC Milan, to the whole team here as well. We really appreciate you all being here with us once more. It really has been so fabulous and such a pleasure to bring you yet another competition. We'll see you very soon indeed. Another congratulations to JOYBOY and to Kalahard. And until next time, arrivederci.
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 of eFootball is the Manchester United Club event, open to any user worldwide. The Manchester United Club event will consist of 4 online rounds divided into 4 regions of the world. Round 1, 2 and 3 will be played. The eFootball Championship 2024 doesn't stop. The next official competition